All right, guys, we're going to introduce you to the glance panel, which is the secondary keypad. We've all been waiting for this to come out, so we're going to go over a quick installation video here. Now, when you pull this out of the box, you're going to have two options of mounting. You can either mount it on the wall, or you can use what we call a kickstand, mount it on a desktop, tabletop, bed, stand right next to the bed or something, or on the wall. The thing that you got to remember is this: if you're going to put it on the wall, you can only power it up with a VAC1. You cannot connect this to the AD power supply to power it up. It has to have its own transformer, and it has to be a VAC1. So you're going to have to run a wire, just like you do with the Sky Control panel, to a receptacle, use a VAC1 to power it up. Now, if you use the kickstand, you can actually use the appliance cord that comes with it, right? It's a little 6-foot cord that comes with it. It's already inserted into it, and then it hooks just up, just like our cameras and stuff like that. And that's when you're using the kickstand, it just slides up right there, and then you can power it up. Now, there's some things that you got to be familiar with, especially when you're dealing with the back plate, whether it's either the wall mount or the kickstand, right? So there's a set screw here on the bottom. So as you can see, there's the home button right there. We flip it over, we flip it up. You can actually see the set screw right there. What you want to do is you want to back this all the way out, right? And it just keep going until it actually stops, and then you know that you've backed it all the way out. So it just makes it a lot easier. See, it just stopped right there. And the way that you get this off is you push down and then you pull it off, all right? And when you go to put it on, it's the same thing. And as you can see, it's like a key. You know, as you can see, it looks like you have this little section right here, and then you have this part right here. It's kind of like a sideways Utah. So what you're going to do is you want to make sure that the bottom is nice and snug across the top right there, and then you push it up, it'll snap into place, and then you tighten that set screw, right? But before we actually do that, I want to show you the battery. So this is the backup battery right here, okay? And it's a little clip that actually slides in right here, okay? Now, when you go to hook up the battery, you want to make sure that it goes black, white, and red, okay? So the red is on the far side, the black is closest to the battery, and you're just going to take this little thing, you're going to put it up in there, and it's just going to slide right down in there and snap in, okay? So make sure it goes, you don't have it reversed where you go red, white, and black. Make sure you're going to go black, white, and red, and that'll make it easier when you're inserting the battery. Now, one thing you got to be really careful. Just next here to the battery tab are two metal springs right here. They're very, very fragile, so you need to be really, really careful when you're putting the back plate on. If you do it the way that we're training you, you shouldn't have any problem, but that's where the power is going to be applied. So if you have the back plate, you're going to mount the back plate on the wall, and the wires actually are going to wire up into the back plate, and then you're going to slide this on, okay? On the kickstand, it's a little bit different because you're going to plug it in right there. So let's go ahead and get the back plate on here, okay? As you can see, it just fits perfect right in there, right? And then all you got to do is just kind of push it together. You'll kind of feel it snap in, and then slide that baby up. And then you're going to take your screwdriver, and you're going to tighten this set screw up, and that's going to keep everything in place, okay? So once we get it either on the wall, the battery, this all hooked up, make sure that we have power going to it. So I'm just going to plug this into a receptacle real quick. Okay, we're going to apply power to it, and then we're going to put this in there, okay? Now, this is the screen that you're going to see when you first power it up, okay? It says ready to connect. Now, you can either hit the connect button here to get it going, and you also have this information up here, a little I button right here, okay? It's actually going to go in, as you can see, IP address, hardware ID, MAC address, your software. These, have to have certain software on them for them to work and stuff like that. Initiate WPS, update, you can reboot it. And this is a key one right here, reset all to factory default. So, if one's giving you fits or whatever, you get back to this screen, you can actually go in, hit that button, and it's going to default it, wipe it clean. So it's kind of like a fresh glance panel coming out of the box, okay? Now, let's go ahead and get this thing learned in, okay? We're going to exit back out. We're going to go back to this screen. Now, I always find it easier to learn the glance panel into the sky panel if you start the WPS process from the actual sky panel. So we're going to go into programming. You guys should know how to do that. Okay, we're going to go to zones, key fobs, and keypads, right? So we're going to go in. We're going to hit secondary glance panel, and then it says add panel. Very similar to the camera, right? We're going to hit add panel, and then it says how do you want to connect it, Wi-Fi Connect or WPS. Hopefully in the future the Wi-Fi Connect will work a lot better for us. But right now we're going to use WPS. We click on it, we hit add, and as you can see, status, please wait, listening for device, and then we're going to go in and hit connect. And then what should happen is these two devices should pair up. So let's go ahead and watch and see what happens. So as you can see, it says it's found device, it's configuring device, just like a camera. So they will probably learn in and start talking. As you can see, it's already did it, secondary panel. It's going to this part right here, connecting to services. You just got to give it a little bit of time, and then pretty soon you'll see the home screen that will match the home screen of the sky panel. There you go. So it looks like it's still doing a little bit of updating. And then we'll just go back, and as you can see, it actually matches up. Now, real quick, the glance panel will do everything that the sky panel will do except for two-way voice. So you got to let your customers know if they have an alarm go off and the monitoring station comes across the two-way voice, they have to go to the sky panel to talk to the monitoring station, okay? They cannot do it from the glance panel. But like I said, everything else will work. They can they can view live video, arm, disarm, turn chimes on, volumes. They can actually control this a little better to where, you know, they can actually dim these lights. They can do the timeout, so you know, when you turn it on, the keypad doesn't stay lit for 1 hour. You can actually mute the sounds on this and stuff like that. So if it's in their bedroom, they don't have to listen to it and stuff like that. But if the alarm goes off, obviously the siren's going to go belling through it. So there are some things that they can actually do. They just need to go into devices, and then they would enter their PIN, and then they can go into the display here, secondary panel. And as you can see, you've got your volume, you've got your display, your LED lighting. You can actually turn that off. You can see it turned off. You can reboot it. You can delete the glance and stuff like that. So we can go click onto onto the display, and it's set for a couple minutes. You can actually take that down to like 1 minute. You can take it down to 30 seconds. So, you know, at night, if it comes on, it's only going to stay on for like 30 seconds. So you can actually go in and adjust the brightness, all through devices, and then go into the secondary panel and go in and actually do it. Okay. Now the other key thing that you got to remember on this is when you go to power this up, you got to make sure that you use a VAC1 or use this cord. Do not power this up on the AD power supply. And those situations are going to come up because you're going to have a hardwired takeover that might have a couple keypads in the house. They might want to just put a sky panel at one and the glance panel at the other one. You may have to take that wire, connect another wire to it, find a receptacle, and put a transformer on it. But as you can see, the glance panel is pretty sweet. All right, guys, it's just like if you got to remove a glance panel from a sky panel, it's the same thing like the cameras. You go into, you know, your wireless zones, key fobs, and keypads, click on it, go to glance panel. Click on the secondary glance panel. It has a delete button up here. Hit delete, hit yes, and that will go in and remove it from the panel. All right, guys, if you ever need to like default this glance panel, once you get to this screen right here, if you hit the I up here, the information, you can go down and it'll say reset all to factory defaults. Go ahead and click on it, hit OK. This will go in and default it so that it's actually thinks it's a brand new glance panel coming out of the box. So if you ever need to do that, you can do that. But it does have to be disconnected or it has to be on that screen right here to actually do that. If you have any questions, just let me know. and we'll get you taken care of. Thanks.